Today is August 13th, 2026, at 6 p.m. This is a meeting of the Town Budget Committee, and we're at the Wolfeboro Public Library. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I now open it up to public comment. 3 minutes per person for a total of 15 minutes. And at my discretion to make it go on a little bit longer. The consensus of the committee. Any public comment from anybody? Okay, we'll move on. Town manager's report.
Okay, so I just want to hand it out to you is the latest expenditure report through the month of July. So it's different than what you've been provided prior for this meeting. This just went to the Board of Selectmen Tuesday evening. So this gets us up to date right here. If you do note, we're at the 58% point in our budget season. Doesn't always correlate directly, but it gets us an idea. On the pages following the summary top sheet, you'll see some of my areas of concerns, which I've noted in various departments, some overages, some possible places where we can make up those overages. I would advise you to go through those. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. Overtime in the fire department, the ambulance budgets are continuing as they have been to have some overage. Some of that is a learning curve, because as you recall is our first year in the ambulance business, and staffing has been a bit of a concern there, in and out, which has required some overtime. Mr. Loman?
I got a quick question. I understand the shortages of staffing. I'm a little confused when you say the inadequate distribution of the first year capital monies.
So if you recall, the ambulance fund had a capital warrant article to fund it year one. Okay, so those monies got distributed throughout the budget of the ambulance. Okay?
Yeah.
With no history and nothing going into where exactly the adequate distribution of that money into that budget went.
Okay.
It made some line items look really out of whack.
Okay.
But
so up and downs.
The
bottom line of the thing is okay.
The bottom line is okay.
All right.
And I have been assured by our fire chief that we're going to make the bottom line at the end of the year.
Okay.
So we are definitely going to be watching it. So
another quick question: do we know if they got any of those grants that they applied? There was 2 grants they applied for.
Grants for the, believe one of the grants for the ambulance itself. I think, Bob.
Yeah.
They got, yes. Yeah, I believe that's the case.
Did they get it or no?
I think they did. I can confirm that. Brian, you?
I think they did, yes.
Yeah, I think they did on at least one of them.
So that's going to help offset.
I think it's already factored into this. So,
is it?
Yeah.
And then the other one they didn't get, that was staffing.
I don't believe they did get the second one. I can confirm that, Joe, for sure. But I think what you have in front of you as far as the ambulance budget is pretty much what we have to work with at this point. One of the things we can, as we get further into the year, and we will make a decision, if we are going to cut ties with our current contractor, which we have the option to do with 30 days notice. Does that save us a lot? Well, what we don't pay out as a contract, we still have to pay for internally with staffing. I'm not quite so sure. I think we wait another 30 days before we even contemplate that. So
The plan was at the end of this year, though. That was the original plan, was to cut it at December 31 of 2026, correct?
we have a contracted amount that gets us to the end of the year, correct, Scott?
Okay.
Correct.
But it's over at that point.
It is over at that point.
but we may be able to get out of it earlier?
We can, our contract is written in a manner that with 30 days' notice, we can get out of this thing early. And it's not as though I think it's gonna break anybody's heart on either side.
Right.
I think Stewart's is pretty amicable to it.
Yep.
Towns, I just wanna make sure we're ready before we do that.
Sure, sure.
And with some of the staffing inadequacies, I have a little bit of concerns at this point.
Are we missing any runs because of this staffing problem?
We're not missing runs now because we're kind of that, and Tom would be a better representative exactly how we do it, but we kind of get the overflow right now. And then we will make the flip-flop where we become the primary respondent. And based on what day it is, I think they do adjust. You know, as Stewart's the primary, we're the secondary, and then vice versa, maybe on weekends. But there is a scheme to it, so.
Are they starting to see any revenue?
We are.
Okay.
I mean, in fact, I had a conversation with the chief yesterday, and Adam has, in fact, before we start, I'm introducing here our finance director, which Adam Camoli. I don't know if any of you met Adam. He's week 2, 6 days into this thing, so I would, that's why I brought him here. That's why I want you to all be on your best behavior.
I have a question. Did Adam prepare this?
He will be in the future.
Did you prepare this?
No, I didn't prepare this, no.
This is my,
Thank you. This is wonderful to be able to have this.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
the
it.
last 2 have had that though, Bobby, so don't
I know, but
treat me
this
like I'm some kind
No, but this one just is oddly just,
All right,
it's
you know,
laid out so nice.
It's the first one is the toughest one, and as you go along, the patterns develop, and it's just a matter of adjusting numbers. But thank you very much for that.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Yes, thank you, John. So, Barry, I wrote you a letter a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't tell this committee about it except for maybe the chair, so I'll go through it real quick. In your report on
I do mention the content of your.
July 9th. Yeah, well, I saw machinery and equipment, please note the 57,000 plus encumbrance in this line item, which was submitted by the police commission as an unappropriated expenditure on a new vehicle for the detective. This encumbrance will be overexpended, will overexpend this line by 56,350. The gist of the letter was, it has always been, any of the training sessions we went to, and anything I've ever read was, any and all appropriations are only approved by the voters. We can't do appropriations without the consent of the voter. This is the first time I have seen a police vehicle purchase or any purchase of that amount of money without the voter's consent. In fact, all vehicles purchased over the years have been approved by the voters. This has not been. I asked Barry in the letter if he could get an opinion from the town attorney on this, and because I really think it's questionable myself based on my experience and information. So Barry, is there a reason why they went for that? And did they get the car?
So Bob, they came to me with this, and their intent was to offset this expenditure with monies that they didn't spend on the employee side because of openings. I'm not going to lie to you, I was dead against this. I, like yourself, was under the impression an appropriation of this nature would have to go and be a formal appropriation in the budget, and it would have to be approved by the voters. We had, actually, we found out, I have no say in this whatsoever. They're governed by the commissioners. I took it, the first thing we did was we went to our town attorney and said, hey, this is something we've never really, the way the commissioners were set up, the police commissioners were set up, if you read the language of that original establishment, there's nothing in there that prevents them from making this request. There's nothing in there. It's kind of a gray area, I'll admit. Regardless of what was in there or not, my recommendation was not to proceed with this.
Okay.
They went, we got the advice of its town council. It was a bit of a gray area. Again, looking back at how the commission was originally formed, its duties, its rights, responsibilities. There's nothing that prevents them. They did go after that. I don't know if it was as a courtesy. I'm assuming it was as a courtesy. My original thought was make them come here in front of you folks and make that pitch. They did go in front of the Board of Selectmen. It was at a Selectmen's meeting. The board, after listening to the town council's recommendation and lack thereof teeth to prevent it, they took a vote more or less as a courtesy, and they did allow it at that level.
So that was approved by the select board?
The select board took a vote, had a meeting.
Yeah.
I don't even know, their
I'm not
argument
done yet, so
So,
I'm not done.
okay,
I'd like to finish, please.
yeah.
Thank you.
Somewhere in the middle of all of this, I've done a lot of reading on how money can be moved around the budget. And we know all about that. If you have a disaster of some sort or necessary over expenditure of any line in any department, a snow disaster is a perfect example. A police situation that forces the police department to spend a lot more overtime money than they thought they were going to, then money can be moved around the budget. I've never read anywhere where a new appropriation can be made as to fill in space that they left in their budget. To me, it's totally illegal. And I can't see where the power of a police commission supersedes RSAs. I'm done now.
Okay.
I know what I got.
I feel your pain, Bob.
I got you. Yeah.
It was much more ambiguous than I intended it to be, but it does exist in that nature. Now, one of the things you got to remember, they move monies from within the same budget. They didn't take it from another general fund. They didn't take it from another fund than from taxation. So,
Still,
So,
yeah,
So-
Brian can
hold
probably.
on, just take a Bobby pick up.
Yeah, I just want to point out a couple years ago, and I can't think of, what's the snow mover, the tractor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple years
Grader.
ago,
Yeah, the
They-
grader that went. I
they
think, yeah.
purchased one on lease that was costing us, money, and that was never appropriated by the taxpayers. I think this one is harder because we were very clear last year that we did not want the police vehicles in the budget. We pulled them out and it was separate warrant articles. So that's probably why it's a little upsetting. But there's another issue. What's happening with the compressor too? Is that, because we appropriated that 68,000, and now what's happening with the new compressor that's on its way?
Okay, so are we done with
No,
the
we're not
police
done.
topic yet?
We're not
Before we,
done.
Because that's similar too.
So Linda went through DRA to see if they could transfer to a line item that was machinery, not vehicles. There are towns in the state that have machinery/vehicles as their line in their budget so that they can do this. I went to the New Hampshire Municipal Association, and we both went to town attorney to find out the exact statute that you say. The statute is very gray. It says that the select board can do interdepartmental transfers of money, but it says that department heads can transfer money in their own budgets. The New Hampshire Municipal Association confirmed this with me. That being said, when Steve did his transfer for his new truck, he came to the select board and asked for permission still because he wanted complete transparency. There was an actual bill in Concord, and Bobby, you may have seen one this year. There was a bill this year in Concord that addressed this exact thing, that said police commissions could not
move money in a police budget. It failed in the state. So that did happen. When we were in a default budget, the select board sat and transferred money from all sorts of different departments to cover expenses.
Different ballgame.
Correct, we're allowed to do that. The police department, the DPW, the electric department, they can't transfer money from one department to another. Only the select board can do that. So my problem was the same problem that Bob had. I was told, nope, doesn't work. The select board did not take a vote on that because we were told that we didn't have to approve it, that they could do it on their own. My bigger issue with it was transparency. For the police commission and the chief to get a car, if they have money in their budget, okay, but the voters should know what's happening every step of the way. And I'm glad that the chief came to a select board meeting and presented it to us and said, we have money in our budget, we're gonna do this, we're gonna buy a car, so on and so on and so on. But we didn't make a vote, Barry, we didn't have to make a vote.
Okay, if that was the case, I apologize, but I think you may have made a motion
We tried to.
not to interfere or
Yes,
something, or
that's what
something
it
of that
was, yeah.
nature.
There was
So
talk of
I'll
a
just
motion
quote that.
happening to say we're approving their transfer, and then basically the board said no, because technically we don't have to.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask if there was any discussion or concern by the police commission the appearance that this is going to give in the
I
future
can
down the
tell
road.
you, Brian, that we informed them, myself personally informed that this is not gonna look good at any level. So I
Certainly when they come before us next
I
year.
don't, look at me, I'm up here on the firing line listening to this, and I was against it, so.
Maybe not then, but,
Oh, I was never for it.
no, I mean, on the firing line, you know, you don't.
Give me another 15 minutes, I probably will.
Okay, John?
I have 2 questions. What Board of Selectmen's meeting, what date was that discussion?
We can get that out, my memory's terrible.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long, it was within the month.
I'll look for the date then and I'd like to
We
watch.
can pull that up for
Yeah,
you,
watch
John,
that.
and get you that.
It was
You have,
before the 5th. I know it was before.
That's okay, he'll get me the date, which is fine.
Yeah,
What's the statute that you were all talking about? Which RSA?
Yeah, it's, okay, it's, RSA 32 is your title, budget number. There's a lot of subsections to RSA, but you get into RSA 32 and.
I've read that, but is there a subsection that you were leaning on that,
I think, I can send you some of those emails, correspondence where we
It was A, B, and C, I believe.
went through that, John, specifically.
okay.
If
And
you'd
then
like,
the final question is, did town council give a written opinion?
I have an email opinion, yeah.
Can I have that? You share it?
I don't know.
Ask Nathan.
I'll have to ask Nathan, I don't know if it falls under attorney-client privilege or not, but to me, there was nothing there that was.
Bob? What's to prevent them from doing this again? Have we established a precedent now where we're going to, police departments just willy-nilly going to go out and buy vehicles through the police commission? Because we have established a precedent.
It's not us that put the precedent out. It's-
My position is, I can tell you, in the budget for this year, that $57,737.61 is coming off their bottom line.
Is that a motion? That was a joke.
I'll make the motion when it comes time.
Bob, number 2.
You're number 2.
That's because you're older than me. Okay, so I clipped out a reading from, this is case law, a case in the town of Litchfield, New Hampshire. This is very brief. An appropriation is the authorization to spend money. An appropriation can only be authorized by the legislative body, and that's the voters. That's it. That's it. John, what I would like to see us look at, there are approximately 8 police commissions in the state of New Hampshire out of 208 towns. I would like to approach the New Hampshire Municipal Association to have a training session on the duties and rights of a police commission in a town. This is not the first time we had an issue with them, and I really think we need to clean this up as far as what they can and can't do. As far as all the reading I've done, they can hire and fire, they can discipline, they're not allowed to do any investigations, even though they do, and they're not allowed to set policy. That's from my reading. This is setting policy, and that's why I think we should have a training session by the New Hampshire Municipal Association to try and straighten all this out.
Yeah, I think the statute is pretty clear, it's hire, fire,
Yeah.
set salaries.
Yeah, I've read all this
Yeah.
stuff, and
Right.
But it was the chief who moved money in his budget and told the commission he was doing it, and the commission agreed, and that's the way it happened.
that's got nothing to do with it.
House Bill 1085, this year in 2026, was introduced, ready Bob, you're gonna love this one, to restrict and redefine the authority of local police commissions, limiting their scope to personnel appointments, rule enforcement, and compensation structures, while barring them from authorizing budgeting salary increases. So there's already, that's salary increases, but there's already bills going through to stop this kind of thing or related things from happening, but that bill failed.
That bill came before my committee,
Yeah,
and the reason it failed is because there was only one department that came with,
yeah,
that testified
yeah.
about it.
Because there aren't many police commissions in the state.
Well,
Eight,
what did you say
eight.
there? How many did you say there were?
8.
What I read, when I did a lot of work on this, when they came up for, they came up with 2 votes they were warrant articles to eliminate the police commission. I did a lot of reading on it, those 2 times, and they're, to me, their duties and powers are extremely limited, much tighter than what they've been doing.
Yeah.
So, but that's why I say maybe we should have the New Hampshire Municipal Association identify all of this and give us some, some forward look on it.
So
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Barry. Do you remember which line item that the 2 cruisers were under in the budget? So the 2 cruisers were in warrant articles, so those have their own separate. But prior to that, he put them in the budget, and we asked him to take them out.
Okay, so this is, forgive me, this was before my tenure here.
Okay.
They probably were a capital outlay. That would be the normal way you would do it. You'd have your
No, they
cruisers in.
were, I believe they're inside, built into the
No,
budget.
that capital outlay
No, it
isn't.
wasn't, it was part of the police budget, it wasn't in the back of the book.
It wasn't even a capital outlay, it was a line item
Okay.
in their budget.
Then, I mean, we can find that out.
And we pitched a fit about it.
I always
Without
thought,
machinery and equipment.
Right.
what I always
Whatever
thought
the line
that
was.
vehicles were capital outlays.
But it was inside the budget, period, it wasn't a capital
I'm
outlay.
learning a lot.
No, actually, they can be a capital outlay. It can be done in one of several ways, but a capital outlay is part of the operating budget, and the operating budget is approved by the voters.
Yeah.
This vehicle was not nowhere in the operating budget that was approved by the voters. You know that. We've been through this 3 times now, so thank you, John.
I just think that the chief should be reminded that we got a lot of flack, at least I did, about having the cruisers in the budget. And if we took them out of the line item that he had transferred to it, he should show concern for what we did the previous budget by removing those 2 cruisers. I don't think this falls solely in the police commission. I think it's more towards the chief, because that's done under his authority to buy the cruiser. My other concern is, I don't recall we ever buying a new cruiser for a detective. He's always got a hand-me-down. I would be more happy if the cruiser was assigned to patrol, a brand new cruiser to patrol, than one of the old ones went to the detective, at least for now. But anybody else have anything? Yes, sir.
It was line 740 within the 42.
So 740 is a machinery equipment line, right?
Correct. You stole my thunder.
No, I'm sorry.
That's where it is.
Go ahead.
I have.
Machinery equipment.
I have Nathan's written response here. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, go ahead.
So my question was, obviously, can we buy this other? Nathan says, Barry, is this separate from the 2 cruises that were approved at the March 26th town meeting? Obviously, yes. This really falls into a gray area. The commission is empowered to appoint police officers, constables, superior officers, as they may, in their judgment, deem necessary, and to fix their compensation. Said commissioners shall also have the full authority to make and enforce all rules and regulations of the government of the police force in the town of Wolfeboro. But the statute is silent on appropriations of the budget and says nothing about equipment and capital projects. So it's not specifically called out. Theoretically, the chief could choose to reallocate funds from staffing to make an equipment purchase, and he is only answerable to the commission for approval of such. The board could respond in the next budget cycle by substantially reducing the police portion of the budget. You didn't hear that from me. And he says this appears to be more of a political fight than a legal fight. There's no specific guidance in the statute or in case law.
Well, he was talking about a different statute. The statute about the voters must approve appropriations is quite clear, you know, so.
So I think we went.
Yeah, so, but you know, if when we're done with this, I have another question for you, Barry, but I'll hold off it until we finish this one.
Did we already buy both the cruisers?
It has been ordered.
They're ordered.
Well,
Both of
the
them.
2 cruises that were part of the
That's what I'm
warrant,
asking, were they
those,
both purchased?
yes, those have been ordered. I believe they're in. They're
Oh,
waiting
okay.
they're being fitted, upfitted, but they're in. And
We don't know about number 3 yet.
number 3 was a deal where it was one of these cruises that was set up for another department that didn't take order. It's coming shortly because it was basically already built.
Sean?
Yes, go ahead.
So I brought this up last year when we were in with the police department, and some of this could be solved, I think, by a capital reserve. And it will, you'll put money into that, and we won't have any more of this. Hopefully, we won't have any more of this. But I certainly think it helps, and that's something, however we do that, I think it's important to set that up.
But just to your point, Bob, how would a capital reserve have prevented this from happening? It wouldn't. I mean, you could still have, right?
So Brian, you're right.
You still have a situation where, you know, they've got, you know, underexpended funds in many lines.
But we have an avenue to deal with that, which is bottom line, take it out of their budget the following year. And the capital reserve is, they can't do anything else with it. That has to go to the selectmen from the expense of it.
On that, a capital reserve account is approved by the voters. The select board has the authority to expend the money that is in a capital reserve account. So that's a very good recommendation. So that's, you know, so what they could do is put X amount of money away every year and buy police cruisers out of that with the authority of the select board. That would, you know, that would eliminate this problem. That's
Except if they still found more money in their
Right.
budget for something else.
That's
they
what
could-
Brian just said.
They could
Yeah.
still buy
Yeah,
something
yeah.
else. There's safeguards in other departments, like the highway department and everything, because their direct supervisor is the town manager. So they can't move money in their budget unless they ask their boss, and the town manager would go to us, the select board, because we're his boss. So that's the safeguard for all the other departments. But there is no safeguard because we have a police commission.
But again, I'll reiterate the same thing. The same thing we're gonna do, most likely, when we go before them, when we do their budget. You look at the line that they spent, and you cut it by that. Now, you may not get everybody, but you make a statement to them, if you keep doing this is what we're gonna do.
Well, I can read a motion right here and a second right there, so it looks like we're on our way.
Bob.
I have a question. Is there anything in the, I guess the RSA doesn't deal with this at all. It just talks, if it's not there, we can do it. That's kind of the assumption that's been taken.
Right.
Is that correct? Am I right in my thinking?
I think there's nothing
Because
that
there's
prevented
nothing that
Yeah.
prevents it, they took the position, oh, we can do this.
Well,
So my next question, the second part of my question is, can only the state amend that RSA? Is that?
Yeah.
So we can't establish a town ordinance here to,
I
so it's
don't,
strictly a state issue.
but I don't agree with that. I think the RSA is quite clear about it. If RSA 32 is quite long, if you run through all the sections of it, it's pretty clear that, and plus case law, it's pretty clear that the only ones who can permit an appropriation are the voters. That's it. And it's pretty clear in the RSA. This is, to me, this is just, well, we're going to do whatever we want anyway, and that's it. So,
Is that Article 32, the police commission article?
no, it's RSA 32 in state law, and it has a lot of subsections.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one that deals with police commissions, period. That's the one
There's different
Yeah.
sections, like Wolfeboro has its own law on police commission. Like Nashua, the governor appoints who's on the police commission.
Okay.
Well, there's a bunch of different ones and stuff.
Yeah.
So the town doesn't have the power at all to adjust the,
No, it has to be done by an RSA, by the legislature.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I also got a ruling from the New Hampshire Municipal Association attorney that said the same exact thing that our town attorney said. It's a gray area. What I was trying to get my head wrapped around is we're a Dillon rule state. So it's supposed to be that you're only allowed to do what is allowed written in state RSA.
Right.
And it's not written in state RSA that they can do this, but two different attorneys in the New Hampshire Municipal Association and ours said it's a gray area, and there's really, because we were under the assumption that the select board would have to approve this, and that's not what ended up happening.
Paul, we're talking about the police home purchase.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I kind of get that idea.
Okay,
One more.
yeah, go ahead.
I got something else, but
Yeah, just-
when you're done.
We're still on police vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah, just one more commentary. You know, I see this as a reflection on our budget committee and a reflection on the police commission as to the budget they presented to us. You know, every year we try to do everything within our power to keep the budget at a reasonable level and at a minimum. Absent information that there was something, you know, unanticipated that created this windfall, so to speak. I just think that as it sits, and especially this time of year, where we're only halfway through the year, it's a terrible reflection on the job that we did as a budget committee in paring down the budget, and the job that the police commission did in presenting a budget.
Brian, you know, mission statement, you know, we got three things in the mission statement. First one is to, you know, help voters understand the budget. Under the umbrella of that part of our mission statement, it says we are to oversee the budget. We are the oversight committee. And I think by talking about this today, I think we are doing our job. So it's, you know, Barry didn't get a lot of support. You know, all he seemed to get was, well, there's a lot of gray areas. You know, well, I don't think what a police commission can do cannot supersede RSA 32. It's quite clear that only the voters can appropriate money, not the police commission. So that's why I brought this up, and we're going to have to ride it out. That's all.
I'm sure their position is that the money was appropriated. The money
Yeah,
was in our budget.
No, there you go. Yeah.
Well, further, if this was a question when the budget was presented, I'm kind of going after your comment about the budget committee may have fallen on their face on this one. It seems to me that the police commission and the police department fell on their face because they didn't put the third vehicle in their budget.
Right.
There was no request. So let's not criticize the budget committee for not picking up on this.
I'm not criticizing what we did, because we couldn't have foreseen what was coming down the road here. But my commentary is that, you know, the public is going to look
Yeah.
and say,
Doesn't reflect good on
yeah,
us.
why did this happen?
Yeah.
You know,
Why'd you let this happen?
Right.
So if I could speak briefly on that, there were 2 cruises scheduled for this year. There were 1 for next year. They're telling me that the 1 request for next year goes away with this request. Okay, I would hope so.
That's not the point of everything.
I know, I'm just,
Bobby?
Can I just ask a question? So the budget, when we were making the budget, one of the things that the chief came before us and spoke about was the need for these employees. And part of the budget cut was that the employees, that it was going to be hard for him because he needed to onboard extra employees. So I'm a little concerned right now. Are we not onboarding extra employees? Because he said he had already cut employees. So now, I mean, Paul, you're just coming from their meeting. Are we down employees we should have now? I mean, should the citizens be worried and concerned that we don't have police officers?
I believe I heard the captain say that they're bringing somebody on board shortly. I didn't get a look at the exact date. I didn't hear an alarm bell being rung about being short-staffed. Their overtime, as you can see, is a little bit up because they're covering shifts. The overtime that's up, I think, is distributed across not only PD but also dispatch. But you know, I'm not trying to kick this one around. I think the right thing to do is have those questions written down, you know, in the way you do, and invite them to sit down and talk to you about this. I think that's probably the right thing to do, because an explanation is probably required.
They could have done that before they made this move.
Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, Bob.
Sorry, I'm not the chair. Can I ask, I have another topic.
We're still on the police vehicle.
What's that?
We're still on the police vehicle.
I'm sorry, John.
It's okay. Okay, just the other concern I have, I just want the public to know that we didn't try to hide this. This wasn't in the original budget. We took out the 2 vehicles that were in the budget and put them in a warrant article. And if there's any issues with the 3rd vehicle, that should be addressed with the chief. I'm also disappointed because when we did the police department, the budget, I asked to see if we could cut a couple of months, January, February, March, and out of the budget itself. And it was done, but it was, he seemed to show a lot of concern about not having that money there. And yet he can go out and spend $55,000 on a new cruiser by taking that out of the line item for the employees to hire another officer. I would like to ask the attorney, many times when there's a gray area in the law, that's best addressed by a court, and why this wasn't challenged in the court, in Superior Court. That way we could have got some kind of definition or some guidance from the court on future actions done by the chief of police. Welcome to Wolfeboro.
I was going to protect them.
No, I'm just concerned. I think this has got to be addressed by somebody, and the court's the one to do it. Yes, sir.
I'm not familiar with what that entails, taking something like that to the...
What would have happened is if they had said no, then the police commission would have said, well, okay, we're taking the town selectman, the town manager, whatever, the court. Or they could have said, we're not going to do that.
So I can forward it to you guys. I got a legal service counsel, Jonathan Cowell, who spoke with Steve Buckley at New Hampshire Municipal Association and gave me a ruling, and the ruling says the same thing. If they don't overspend their budget, that they can do that, which is why there might only be 8 police commissions in the state.
Well,
Can I ask a question about that?
Nick, can you just clarify that if they don't overspend their budget, can you go through that again, please?
As for the spending authority of the Wolfeboro Police Commission, this too would depend on the session law that created the Wolfeboro Police Commission. It is quite possible that the Wolfeboro Police Commission is analogous to library trustees as provided in RSA 202A:6, whereby library trustees have the entire custody and management of the public library and all the property of the town related thereto, including appropriations. Nevertheless, what the Wolfeboro Police Commission could not do is overexpend the total amount appropriated for police purposes by the town meeting. Thus, if the total amount appropriated for police purposes is $500,000, the police commission could not overexpend that amount, but probably could move dollars around in that total appropriation and award hazard duty pay, provided the total annual expenditures for police purposes did not exceed that $500,000.
Okay. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'm sorry, John. We hit a wall.
So, one point about that, Brian, is the libraries are specifically mentioned with those powers,
Correct.
and the police commission isn't. That's a big difference.
Is
It's
it-
not a gray area, in my opinion, at all.
Well-
And I'm not well versed in New Hampshire law,
Yeah.
but I have some experience elsewhere that when something isn't mentioned, everybody calls it a gray area, but if you don't want it, you have to push back and maybe go get a ruling in court.
Yeah.
So a comparison, that gentleman just made,
Yeah.
to me, is a false comparison, because enumerated powers that the libraries have, you know, I'm probably familiar with that, right? That those enumerated powers mean a lot, whereas there's no enumerated powers other than for the budget and personnel and things like that for the police commission, which I've read that statute as well, doesn't leave it wide open.
So here's me cutting my own head off in public. My answer, I disagree. We should not allow a cruiser purchase. The select board, town legislator, and state legislature never gave the police commission the right to initiate line item transfers in their budget. Also, we are Dillon rules state the RSA does not grant the police commission or chief the rights to line item transfers without select board approval. Not granted, it cannot occur. And I was cut off at the knees. So I tried.
Yeah, okay. Too bad, because it would have been $55,000 going back to the taxpayer if it was left in the budget. Justin?
I'm curious if this is unique to the library and the police commission. For example, other departments in town answer to the town manager. So short of them going rogue and doing something wrong, even within a line item, do they have the ability to spend what they deem necessary to spend so long as they don't overspend the bottom line, and then answer to the town manager as to why?
Not the case. In all other cases, the town manager would have to ultimately approve that budget, that have to approve that purchase order, that budget expenditure.
Is there a threshold for where that gets triggered? I mean, $20 for some paper clips is within office supplies, but something...
You know, the way our system is right now, virtually everything over $200 is a purchase order.
So in a way, the town manager's, one of the charges is to be the overseer of the spending, and then the finance director oversees that as well for checks and balances.
Yeah, there's three different levels: finance director, town manager, board of selectmen, ultimately.
But we don't have any control over the library and its budget, and we don't have any control over the police department because of a police commission. And of course, a lot of citizens don't understand that we also have nothing to do with the school budget. They're a whole separate entity into
Right.
themselves.
So they do come before me, their purchase orders. I don't know if it's as a courtesy or what. But in this case, I refused to sign it, so it didn't matter.
For me, it was just all about transparency.
That's the big thing.
If they had pulled the RSA, showed us we have the right to do this, if they had gotten a legal opinion from their council, town council, whoever, and then came to us and said, we're going to make an announcement, we're buying a cruiser because we have extra money in the budget, we could not like it, but transparency is very important in this town. We're under a magnifying glass, all of us.
Okay, on to your next topic, sir.
Yes, Barry.
I realize I'm not even supposed to be here today. I'm supposed to be out of here, so. They dragged me back in for another couple of months. Go easy here.
I got more stuff, but anyhow, on this topic, our electric contract is up at the end of the year.
I can speak to this. I know the answers to
Thank you.
this. This is the one thing I know. We are out to bid. Indicative pricings are due actually Monday, this Monday the 17th, 5 p.m. So what we do is we request indicative pricing. What's your best pricing as of Monday at 5 o'clock? And we'll probably get 5 or 6, 7 quotes from the big guys that provide power in this country.
Right.
We'll write contracts with 2 or 3 of those based on pricing and what's the best deal. Based on that, we'll have those contracts ready to roll. We don't have a date yet, but it'll typically be a day mid-October, and it'll be at like noon time, where we request final pricing. And it has to be somewhere in that guideline of the indicative pricing. Once those come in at noon, we have like 3 minutes to sign a contract with one of them, one of the 3, and so that's why we have contracts ready to go with all. We typically narrow it down to 3 at that time.
Okay.
It appears, I'm probably going to jinx myself, but in our budget guidelines, we're probably going to be looking at 20 to 30% increase on the energy supply side.
Okay.
Which if you look at our rates still compared to all our fellow, we're still going to be much lower than them. It will be the first price increase we've had in 16 years. So let's not forget that. We're probably overdue. I don't know anybody that can go 16 years on a stable rate in any utility. So I'll know more Monday evening when the indicative prices comes back. And based on that, I will have a better number for the budget.
Okay.
I have a number out there that I've given the department heads.
Yeah.
A 3.5 cent per kilowatt hour increase. I'll know better next week.
It's not a surprise to me or anybody who has reached the stuff about power costs going up all over the place. So actually, yeah.
So it's not quite as bad as we originally thought it may
Right.
be. Natural gas, I mean, fortunately, natural gas is staying pretty damn steady. It's not that bad right now, and not like our other friends from the petroleum-based fields that are taking it. But New England is highly dependent upon natural gas for our power plants. So let's keep our fingers crossed,
Thank you.
and we hope to get another 5-year term. That's what we're working for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not even guaranteed, right? So, yeah.
Sometimes we'll go with a 3-year term, just with extensions. I don't know, there's many different ways. We offer like 4 different options. We'll either buy full load energy, which is for every bit of energy we buy. We'll either buy blocks of energy and then supplement it with spot market.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it. So we'll look at the best option for Wolfeboro.
Thanks, Barry.
Barry, do you have anyone that's total solar? It's hooked up to a power, but nobody gets an electric bill, they get everything's done, but they don't want solar. Is anybody like that in town, you think?
There's probably 2 folks. There's probably 2 folks on our system that are interconnected with net metering and solar that run a credit. In other words, at the end of the year, we owe them a little money. But those people are also folks that have a lake home. They don't stay at their house in the summer, so they just build credits all summer. And they go away to Florida in the winter. So I wouldn't say they're full-time residents and building credit. So.
Do they get the full credit, the full price per kilowatt that we pay, or how does that work?
So no, we changed our net metering policy some time ago because originally we did a full swap when we did the pilot program.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a great deal for folks. Not so much for us. We did that for about 5 years until we got some good numbers and some data. After that, we only reimburse them for the energy portion of their bill, not the distribution, because why we just, why are we crediting for our distribution?
Right, they gotta pay for the upgrade, there's something the money goes pays for the upgrades and things like that.
Correct. You know, their meter charge, they still have to pay for their meter charge, basically the cost of having a meter, having power available, which funds a lot of our billing functions, meter reading functions.
Okay.
But so, yeah, if we're at a quick guess, they'll get 10 cents return on a 14-cent full price. So,
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just an observation, one of those places is the library right here, is that correct?
yeah, it's not running a credit though, John.
No, I know.
Yeah,
But
but there's like, there's, what are we,
Saving a couple-
70 kW, 75 kW up here? Why am I looking?
It's a 10-year recovery,
I'm looking at you because you love solar.
The screen's
it's
over.
a 10-year recovery for the, right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Under the process, but they're saving, they're net zero really, right now.
Yeah,
And there's a little machine out here that'll tell you that every time you walk
you know,
by it.
It might be this summer, because of the summer, you think?
summer, winter, you lose, I mean, we have it down at our shop. We have a very similar sized system at our shop down in the department. You know what, we're probably the best one to look at. We are running a credit. Why didn't I think of us? We are running a credit down there full time. So at the end of the year, we're up a little bit. And that's why our next vehicle, our next meter reader vehicle, I'm gonna look at buying an electric one that we can plug in and basically, because we're running a credit, what are we doing? You know, I mean, it's not like we're gonna cash it out. So,
Yeah. So what about other town buildings, like the POP, for instance, that has a pretty good sized southern facing roof?
it does. I mean, we've looked at other town facilities. The Energy Committee has spent a lot of work looking at other buildings and facilities. One of the things up there that needs to be concerned is the snow load off the roof, dumping on the, we're still trying to solve that up there now with some of the danger of the snow coming off the roof. So down the road, that may be an option, Justin, but
We're looking to expand, the Energy Committee is to expand EV chargers in town because they're getting to be used quite a bit. There you go.
Okay, any other questions?
You
on
loved
the-
them from the start, huh, Barry?
Any other questions on the appropriation report?
if I can bring one other, the third probably key topic to light here, the Pop Whalen compressor. We recently had a compressor up there fail. It's one of the two. We have a 12-cylinder one, we have an 8-cylinder one. During warmer months and during the season where we're making ice, both of them need to be running at optimal to maintain the ice. The 8-cylinder one, upon startup, suffered a failure. And it's something I didn't point out at the board the other night. I mean, this compressor's a 1970s model. It was used when it went in there in the early 90s or whatever. So it had a failure. A new one is not available unless we're going to repipe and reset up the whole facility. We found a used one out in Oregon. It's going to be cost up to the tune of potentially $70,000, which we do not have in the Pop Whalen budget. There's no place to find that in the Pop Whalen budget as it exists. So we will be going to the board. I went to the board initially just to get a feel for the fact we're going to have the rink running this year, right? Are you supportive of that? Yes. So we have a replacement, that replacement compressor heading our way. We're going to have to do a little creative savings elsewhere, searching, scrambling to find those monies to assist and pay for that. So
Out of the operating budget?
it's going to have to come out of, it's going to have to come out of the operating budget, but there was a warrant article in 2021 that was approved that allows monies from taxation, general taxation, to be used to fund capital expenses at the Pop Whalen rink. So in this case, there is a mechanism by which taxation money can be used to supplement the rink, which was at one time an enterprise fund.
Well, another thing I was thinking of is, we've done this several times before now, is Jim Pinio reached out to DRA and came through us on a request to pull money. I think one of his requests was to pull money out of the electric department surplus, if you recall that a couple of years ago. That's the only thing I
Yeah,
was
that
thinking
didn't
of.
fly. I shut that down, Bob.
Oh, you did? Wow.
He had the pump action going on there.
Yeah, I was gotten that.
But, that's another positive. That's something I think you need, so, I mean,
That particular warrant article Barry references that was passed in 2021, I guess is, my words, it's a trapdoor that can go right to the unrestricted fund balance.
You
But you
can.
have to get permission to do it. You can't just
Yeah.
arbitrarily.
and we don't have a contingency fund either, which we probably should
We
have.
don't. There was talk at one time,
Yeah.
I had that,
So
so,
that, a contingency fund requires a warrant article and it has to be approved by the voters, and then you build up your contingency fund. We don't have any of that. If you have to go to DRA, you have to make a request for DRA to use money in the unassigned fund balance, and that's got to come through this committee.
so I will tell you, I did go to DRA in this one. I did go to town attorney, and our auditors happened to be up this week, so we checked with them as well. In this case, because that warrant article, the way that was voted in, we don't have to go to DRA to make an additional request. The board members can approve that request. Because of that warrant article, the mechanism is in place.
Yeah.
So all three parties that our auditors told us that they would not question that whatsoever if that came up.
So now you're going maybe 70G on this and 57 on a police car. So you're going to have, and you're still going to have enough money to get to the end of December.
We're gonna have to find it, Bob. So there's two mechanisms we are looking at. We haven't made a final decision on either or mechanism. One is, we find it in the bottom line of the budget, somehow, this year's budget.
Right.
The second option, we do have the option of delving into, and I'm not saying this, we're gonna do this, but we could delve into the unrestricted fund balance, or what happens to be in there, and it could be funded from that.
Right.
But of course, that means those are monies that may or may not be returned to the taxpayers if there's a surplus in there. But so those are the two options we're looking at. And the board made the motion the other night that we would wait, I don't know if it was officially a motion, but they made the decision that we'll probably wait till mid-September, mid-October, and see where we're at that time to further drive that decision, which way we're gonna go. How's the operating budget look? Is it even feasible? So,
Bobby?
I just have a couple questions. What's the revenue looking like right now at the POP? Where are we percentage-wise?
so I haven't run a recent one since, it was probably 2 months ago, but obviously it's pretty straight flat during this time of year.
Shouldn't
So
be,
it
but
shouldn't be much change at all. I will tell you, we're gonna lose a little revenue for being down. We're not gonna open up in August, not happening.
Yeah. Did we have the big hockey tournament scheduled this year
There was
like
one
last
hockey
year?
tournament scheduled that will lose revenue, will be open for the mid-September,
Okay.
the
That
next
was
round.
11,000, I think, last
And-
year.
There was a hockey camp.
The hockey
was
can,
scheduled.
And they went up to
back day
him.
hockey, that camp has been canceled.
yeah.
Okay, and then the other question is, we went some time without an employee there. What was the amount of that employee that we didn't expend funds for the director of the POP?
Yeah, I think we
Considering
were
we're
probably
doing the
20 to 30, but we also had to replace some cooling tubes in there. So that sort of balanced out the monies we may have saved from the employee, and then we have another set of
Okay, wait a second, hold on. I want to stop you for a second.
Okay.
We gave $68,000 more last year at the last minute, and I thought that went to the cooling tubes. That's what you said. Was I wrong at the select board meeting the other night when I asked
so.
about that 68,000? That was for the compressors, and you said it was for a tower and tubes.
Okay, so the water tower was a whole separate subject. That was something
And that was
didn't.
68 from something else.
Wasn't there a cut at the deliberative session?
I thought
The
that,
bottom line?
No, cut at the
Upper
deliberative
front
session was the select board made it early, and it was those payments for renting the ice time that we don't
Prepaid ice
use.
time, I think it
That
was
was-
105,000 to 60.
yeah, but ultimately.
That was different. I'm
ultimately
talking
could
about
have
the
used that to
last minute
offset it.
68 we added.
Yeah, I can give you, Bobby, I can give you the specific
Yeah.
breakdown of where the monies that were in that maintenance line item, building
Okay.
maintenance line item, of where the cooling tubes, there was 2 sets of them were found to be bad. Because I wasn't part of the budget process here, there may have been one budgeted for and one not,
Okay.
but there were other things that were found to be ailing. I'll be glad to give you that
Okay.
rundown of those items.
Okay. And the other question is, the Zamboni was fully funded from Friends?
Correct.
From all the donations,
Correct.
right? We're not sitting on any of that.
Electric work.
There's some electrical setup work for the charger and whatnot of there that's gonna come out of this same line item.
Okay.
We're hoping our friends from the Friends will chip in
Pin raise.
on this one, but, we gotta make the
Okay, and
assumption.
what's that amount right now, do you think?
It's less than 10 grand, it's not huge.
10
but-
grand right now is a lot.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
I know,
No, I know
every
what you're
4 or
saying.
5,
Yeah.
it's less than 10 grand,
Okay.
but, yeah, be nice to,
Thanks.
anyways, let me get you that information, I'll send it to you. In fact, if the whole board wants it, I'd be glad to share it.
If we're done with the pop, I'd like to go back to the ambulance for a second. Everybody's done with the pop. And I want to preface this and be crystal clear that I don't in any way mean to suggest that we should do anything that is unsafe or compromises the service in any way. But if you need to give 30-day notice and could be able to give that on September 1st and have stewards be done for all of Q4, that could potentially be a savings of roughly $190,000 or whatever it is.
It actually wouldn't be, because a lot of that's gonna get sucked up in making sure that our ambulance service is fully staffed, equipped, safety equipment, which it wouldn't be as of right now to pull off. So what looks like over $100,000 is probably gonna shrink down to about 20. Because we haven't even used the monies to fully outfit a couple of additional staffing members to take on. So I went the same way, just I said, oh, here we go, maybe we can gain, but if you look into it further, it's not as good as it looks right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would look into it. We have 3 command staff that are available to, and have been, I should say, covering shifts, and especially during the so-called work week, they're available to backfill shifts, should that be the case. So I would just ask you to ask them to consider it, look at it.
It's gonna have to be.
The infrastructure's there for a couple of positions, it would be worth looking into.
It's a fine line.
If someone for stewards, I don't know, what's the highest you can be in the EMT bar?
Paramedic.
Paramedic. If someone from stewards is a paramedic, can he get a job in Wolfeboro, work the ambulance, or does he have to be a certified fire department, fireman?
I'm out of my line when
Okay.
They had one that did it. That's the one that gave us notice.
He was just a paramedic.
He was a paramedic, he came on board from Stewart's. and
Would he
They
left?
gave us notice.
he went to Dover.
So, yeah, your answer is short, yes.
But was he a certified fireman also?
I don't believe so.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just straight up paramedic.
I was wondering if a person could be just a regular paramedic and not a fireman, be a certified fireman to work on the ambulance. I take it that they can.
Could,
I
but
believe
it would,
you can. I believe
it's
you
against
can
the
way it's set up.
department operational model, but that's what I'm saying. Look at creative ways, because if somebody was committed to just working the ambulance, staffing the ambulance, I mean, that's what we would have with stewards doing it. So, there's ways to get it
We
done.
already got some staffing issues on the fire side as well, so we'll look at all options. They're gonna have to, trust me, they're gonna have to.
All right, we all set with that report here? Okay. Town manager, you all set?
One more thing.
Yeah.
On the report.
Have any more?
I think this is a fantastic report, and we have been getting them regularly as of late, so thank you for that.
No, I'm not sticking around any longer.
Well, as long as you pass the wisdom on.
Thank you.
My only comment or request would be to continue to receive them on a monthly basis, and to have the monthly numbers in addition to the total year-to-date. So, and throughout the year.
So
Historically, we've only had them when we've had meetings, and that's great. I think that one of our charges as the budget committee is to review the numbers, and I personally would like to see a packet like this on a monthly basis. And the only tweak is to add in the monthly in addition to the year-to-date.
Sounds easy, but we're using Unismart, so it's probably,
I think he's asking you to volunteer.
yeah.
No, well, seriously, I think we should seriously talk about software this year.
Well, no, we are having a conversation, even today we had a conversation, and we recognize some of these deficiencies. I mean, I have been doing monthly, I will tell you, you usually get them a little beyond the last of the month, because I feel as though we need to present them to the Board of Selectmen prior to presenting to you folks. And so depending on how those meetings work out, it just so happened we had a board meeting, a special meeting Tuesday night. If not, you wouldn't have got this tonight, because I was able to give it to them Tuesday night. So I do them on a monthly basis. It typically is going to be the third week of the following month, so that we can get all of sort of the month-end stuff in there. So
Right.
Okay.
I hope that's my last one I do, I'm sorry. But
John?
Yeah.
Are we on other business?
We're just wrapping up the finance, I'm hoping.
Because I got a few things. How much time do I have?
10 minutes.
I was gonna say 8 minutes.
Just give me the word.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right, I'm going to start out with budget presentation. So I came back in the game a little late last year, and you had changed the budget presentation where we all had a little bit to say, a report on, and I thought that was, I didn't think that was such a great idea. And unbeknownst to me, it seemed to have a lot of support on the committee, that different people could make different presentations. So I am suggesting that we meet again next month and discuss this. We talked about discussing it at our, I think, our meeting in April. So it might be a good idea to discuss this. So in fact, my idea is to break this down into five segments, and five of us report on each segment. And I don't know off the top of my head. I'm thinking about general government. I'm thinking about public safety. I'm thinking about DPW. I'm thinking about enterprise funds. And what is the fifth one? It doesn't come to mind. Oh, Parks and Recreation. I think we could break this down into 5 spots, and we could have 5 retirees from this committee to make a presentation on each one. And that's why I think it might be a good idea to meet again next month and get ourselves moving on that. And then we'll probably meet again once before we get the budget books and then talk about that. So I throw it out there, and I'm welcome to any suggestions.
Okay, thank you, Bob. What else you got?
Oh, okay, so now on the schedule, I noticed we have on Tuesday, November 17th, we have agencies. And I believe we're doing the agencies with the select board at the end of October at one of their meetings.
Yeah, we did that last year.
Yeah, you started that last year.
Yeah.
Did it work out good for you guys?
I believe it's also listed on a select board schedule as a co-meeting.
On what day? Same day?
17th November.
the select board meeting is at the end of October. I have it right in front of me here. It says, Monday, October 26th, Great Hall, a joint meeting with Budget Committee, Agencies and Welfare. And we have Agencies and Welfare on Tuesday, November 17th. So, and Library Economic Development. So I think we can pull agencies off of the November 17th because we're doing it with the select board.
I think we kept that in there in case there's a fill-up.
Okay. Oh, for agencies that don't show up,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now my next one is Thursday, November 19th, I believe is the third Thursday of November, which is a conflict for Paul O'Brien, because he might be meeting with the police commission that night. The third Thursday? So what we could do maybe is pull that back to Wednesday.
Brian can be here.
Yeah, I'm the lead, he's the,
No, I'm the leader.
Yeah, well, I thought we'd be polite and, well, Paul's the backup,
Yeah.
Well, if you want to leave it the way it is, then we'll leave it the way it is. Okay.
I don't want to tip your apple cart all upside down.
This-
because, I got a standing meeting with the police department.
Disregard that one,
Okay.
please.
Tom and
Okay.
I will converse after and I'll tell him anything that is pertinent.
I think also, this is just a suggestion. I think we should try and narrow down the number of revisit items we do. We didn't used to do that too much, and it seems like we're finishing up, the better part of a budget schedule, revisiting like, maybe 15 things. I don't think we need to do that. But so that's it for me. Thank you,
Yeah, we'll
Joe.
probably have to play that by year,
Yeah.
because hopefully we'll have a new town manager by then. Nothing against you, Barry. And see how it all shapes out.
That's it.
You can't wait. Okay, what else do we have for new business? Anything else? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir? Our new finance director.
Adam Camoli.
Sure, yeah. So I come from the private sector. I work for an investment bank doing primary issuance for municipal debt and secondary trading of municipal bonds. What else can I tell you? I have 2 young kids. I currently live in Maine, but we're slowly making some moves to relocate to Wolfeboro. And yeah, really looking forward to working with all of you.
Oh, excellent, thank you. Any questions?
John's got one.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Hi, Jonathan Rutledge. How do you spell your last name?
COMOLLI.
Thank you very much.
Sounds like an Italian from the state of Maine, right there.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, welcome.
What? I didn't say.
Okay, so the next thing we've got to do is approve some minutes. Anybody got any issues with the past minutes we just did last month?
Doing April 20th too, right?
Yeah. Well, these would be the only ones we have right now, I think, June 11th. Do you have April also?
Well, I think the, I thought April 20th was thrown onto the agenda, but if we,
I just show June 11th.
that's, okay, all right. Okay, let's do June 11th then.
This is recorded, can you check on the website and see if the April ones are on there?
It is,
It is?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Justin did the minutes, and they're definitely on there.
Okay, good. Okay, a motion concerning the minutes for June 11th, 2026.
Approve, motion to approve? No, I'll second it.
Second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of June 11th, 2026, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes. Okay, any public comment? Okay, No public comment? Do we have anything else we've got to deal with? Anyone here on the committee, any questions?
One more.
concerns?
I have one more thing, John.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if anybody's been watching the selectmen's meetings. I have indulged myself on YouTube to watch them. They're interesting. I'll just say, I hope the tension subsides, because you can see it. Even on TV, you can see that tension in that room. It's not good, it doesn't get anything accomplished. The one thing I do want to say is I hope whoever the new town manager is, that we allow that town manager and that finance director to do their jobs. When I first got on this, well, 20 years ago, when I filled for a vacancy, the budget committee members at the time, John probably remembers this, they asked me, who runs the town? And I said, it's the town manager. But I said, at the end of the day, it comes down to the voters. But the day-to-day operations is the town manager. And we need to support that person and support that finance director. Those are the two most important people in this town. And if we get great leadership there, the town runs well. So I just wanted to add that. The other thing I wanted to add as well,
Thank you for that, Tom.
you will. And so I've been doing a little more in-depth review of kiosks regarding parking spaces. I still think this is a good idea. It's something I do intend to bring up. I think if we walked around and asked taxpayers, and they got to see the revenue stream from that, there is an expenditure to it, but the revenue stream is rather large. And I think asking the taxpayers to fund the dock handlers, which I think is a great thing, but we've had people come in and ask us for flowers, $10,000 for flowers to beautify the downtown. You know, anything to do with the immediate downtown area. Those kiosks could be very helpful in subduing that from the taxpayers. And I use your resource. Your tourists are your resource. They don't create an eyesore in town. I know some people don't like it, but if you look around, there's a lot of towns and cities.
Well, there's not many destination towns
That's correct.
that don't
Yeah.
have that.
Can I ask you a question about that? Didn't Jim, I wasn't on the board at the time, but didn't Jim propose a pilot a few years ago to do kiosks?
Two were suggested. Luke Freudenberg suggested a pilot at the town dock parking lot that went down in flames quicker than he could get the words out of his mouth. I suggested
A thoughtful approach.
which got a 5-second listen before it went into the trash can, and it was what's called virtual tire chalking. It's a system where the people we have now, instead of going around and doing all they have to do is walk by with a handheld unit, hit the license plate, hit a tire, and keep on walking. If the car doesn't move in 2 hours from the time they do that, it automatically sends a ticket electronically to the driver, and nobody else is involved.
And how much does that cost taxpayers again?
That is way cheaper than kiosks.
Not over time, it's not. I've looked these things up, so I know there is a revenue. I'll give you this. The town of Gunquick, we're not Gunquick,
Yeah.
$5 million a season. $5 million.
I'm sorry if I brought it up. What I hear Brian, I hear you say is, this is parking ticket control. And what I hear Bob saying is, this is an opportunity to put a couple of dollars in the wagon. I think they're different strategies.
And try to offset what the taxpayers are footing.
And I think one thing that's kind of hit us is the only place on the lake that charges for parking is the
Weirs.
Weirs.
Laconia's old.
Yeah, and on the water, the only place on the lake that charges is the Weirs, just on the strip, just on the pier.
And that's all you wouldn't go out of the downtown area, but obviously it makes, you wouldn't even go to the back parking lot with it.
And I think the feedback we got from the public at the time was, we're gonna be the first ones that start charging the tourists in the Lakes region, and it didn't go over well.
But we're not, so.
Yeah, change is a tough thing.
It is.
Okay.
I like the
Next meeting, how about
I like the
October 6th?
October 5th.
October Tuesday.
October 6th meeting.
What day of the week is that, John?
That's a Tuesday. It's the day before, or the week before.
Okay.
Yeah, Columbus is 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay, midnight.
6
6
o'clock
p.m.
someplace?
And Madam Recorder, if you could clear that with the library, could you reserve the room?
Tuesday, October 6th, okay.
Yes, sir. And that'll be probably our final meeting before we start the,
I got a problem, heavy lifting.
yeah, Tuesday, yes, sir.
CIP and planning board, Great Hall,
At nighttime?
7 o'clock.
Come on over when you know.
The CIP, there's a presentation of you guys. According to schedule.
On Tuesday? I'll double check. I thought I booked everything. I'll double check it.
Okay.
There's a planning board meeting anyway.
You know.
Okay, so we're gonna set the 6th, and we can address that if there's an issue. Anything else from anybody? Seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Hold on, who motion to adjourn?
Bob Loman.
Bob Loman, Bob Mulholland, seconded.
You said.
And I seconded it. Bob Loman.
Bob Roman?
Okay, motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Just say Bob.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
It's always been.